You just checked your phone. You didn't decide to. Your thumb moved before your brain finished the thought. And somewhere, in that half second, a tiny chemical reward fired off inside your skull. You felt it. A small lift. A flicker of relief. But here's the strange part. That flicker has almost nothing to do with the notification you just read. It has everything to do with a survival system built 300,000 years ago, in a world with no phones at all. Your brain was never designed to make you happy. Let that sink in for a second. It was designed to keep you alive long enough to pass on your genes. Happiness was never the goal. It was a byproduct, a tool, a bribe your own biology uses to make you do things that used to matter for survival. Finding food, staying close to your group, noticing danger before it noticed you. The problem is, the world changed. Your brain didn't. You are running ancient software on a modern operating system, and most days it glitches. But once you understand the actual mechanics behind that glitch, you can start pulling the same levers your ancestors pulled on purpose instead of stumbling into them by accident. There are 3 specific tricks, real ones, backed by real research. And once you see them, you cannot unsee them in your own daily life. Let's start with the first one, anticipation. In the 1990s, neuroscientist Wolfram Schultz ran a series of experiments on dopamine, the brain chemical everyone associates with pleasure. Everyone gets this part wrong, by the way. Dopamine was never really about the reward itself. Schultz trained monkeys to expect a squirt of juice after a specific light flashed. He expected the dopamine spike to happen when the juice arrived. It didn't. The spike happened when the light flashed. The anticipation, not the reward. Think about what that means for you, right now, today. The best part of a vacation is often the 2 weeks before it, scrolling through hotel photos at midnight. The best part of a first date is sometimes the hour before, standing in front of your closet, imagining how it might go. Your brain is not built to savor arrival. It is built to chase. Ancient humans lived inside this chase constantly. A hunter tracking prey across the savannah wasn't rewarded with dopamine when the animal finally went down. The reward came earlier, with every fresh footprint, every broken twig, every sign that the chase was working. That anticipation kept exhausted, hungry humans moving forward for hours, sometimes days, long after their muscles wanted to quit. Researchers later studying tourism found something almost identical in modern humans. People who spent time planning a trip in advance, reading reviews, mapping out days, imagining the details, reported higher happiness levels during the planning phase than during the actual vacation itself. The trip was often just fine, ordinary even. But the anticipation beforehand had already delivered most of the emotional payoff days or weeks before a single bag was packed. This explains something you've probably felt but never named: the dread of a Sunday evening, knowing Monday is coming. The strange lightness of a Friday afternoon, even before the weekend has technically started. You're not responding to the present moment. You're responding to what your brain expects the next moment to be. You can steal this trick back for yourself. Give your brain something to look forward to, deliberately, and space it out. Not a reward you consume in 5 seconds and forget. A reward with a runway. Plan something 2 weeks out. A trip. A dinner. Even a phone call with someone you love. The waiting isn't wasted time. Neurologically, it might be the best part. Try this. Instead of buying something the moment you want it, place it in a cart and wait 3 days before deciding. Notice what happens to your mood in that gap. Most people report the waiting itself feels almost as good as the purchase. Your ancient brain doesn't know the difference between anticipating a mammoth kill and anticipating a package on your doorstep. It just knows something good might be coming, and that's often enough. Now, for the second trick. And this one is going to feel uncomfortable because it goes against almost everything self-help culture tells you. In 1938, psychologist B.F. Skinner discovered something that would later shape the entire architecture of your phone. He was studying how rats respond to reward patterns. When a lever gave a treat every single time, the rats pressed it, got bored, and eventually stopped. But when the lever gave a treat, only sometimes, randomly, unpredictably, something changed completely. The rats pressed that lever obsessively, compulsively. Far more than the rats getting guaranteed. This is called a variable reward schedule, and it is, quite literally, the single most addictive pattern discovered in behavioral science. Slot machines run on it. Social media feeds run on it. And your brain has been running on it since long before either existed. Why would evolution build a brain that craves unpredictability? Because the natural world was never predictable. A berry bush wasn't guaranteed to have fruit every time your ancestors checked it. Sometimes it was empty. Sometimes it was overflowing. That uncertainty is exactly what kept early humans checking, searching, exploring, instead of sitting still and starving. The not knowing was the engine. Here's where it gets useful for you. You can't remove variable reward from your life, and you probably wouldn't want to. But you can choose which lever you're pulling. Right now, most people's only source of unpredictable reward is a screen, a notification that might be good news or might be nothing. That's a hollow version of an ancient mechanism, engineered by companies who read the same Skinner research you just did. Redirect that craving somewhere that actually feeds you. Try a new recipe without knowing if it'll turn out well. Take a different route home and see what you notice. Start a hobby where the outcome genuinely isn't guaranteed, like learning an instrument or trying a sport for the first time. Your brain doesn't care whether the uncertainty comes from a slot machine or a hiking trail. It just wants the not knowing. Give it somewhere better to spend that craving. Psychologist Mihaly Csikszentmihalyi spent decades studying what he called flow states, those stretches of time where a person becomes so absorbed in an activity that hours disappear without notice. Painters lose track of dinner. Climbers forget they're tired. Csikszentmihalyi found that flow almost always requires a specific kind of uncertainty, a challenge just difficult enough that the outcome isn't guaranteed, but not so difficult it feels hopeless. That narrow band between boredom and anxiety is where your brain feels most alive. Not because the outcome is pleasant, because the outcome is unknown. This is worth sitting with for a moment. A guaranteed win feels good for about 10 seconds. An uncertain challenge, one you're not sure you'll pull off, can hold your attention for hours. The scroll on your phone gives you the uncertainty without the challenge. It's a shortcut that skips the part your brain actually needed. Now the third trick. This one isn't about chemicals. It's about connection. And it might be the oldest trick of all. In 1938, the same year as Skinner's rat experiments, researchers at Harvard began something that has never stopped running. It's called the Harvard Study of Adult Development, and it has tracked the same group of men, and later their children, for over 80 years. Different eras, different funding, different lead researchers. One question the whole time. What actually makes a human life go well? The current director, psychiatrist Robert Waldinger, has said the results are almost embarrassingly simple. It wasn't wealth, it wasn't fame, it wasn't career achievement. The single strongest predictor of happiness and even physical health in old age was the quality of a person's close relationships. Not the number of friends, the depth. This tracks with something anthropologists have known for a long time. For nearly all of human history, you did not survive alone. You survived in a band of maybe 30 to 50 people, dependent on each other for food, protection, and warmth. A human cut off from the group in the ancient world usually didn't last long. Your brain still remembers this, even though you now live in a world where isolation is not just possible, but often convenient. That's why loneliness doesn't just feel bad emotionally. It registers in your body almost like physical danger. Elevated stress hormones, disrupted sleep, a weakened immune response. Your nervous system is still bracing for a threat that made sense on the savannah and makes very little sense in your apartment, alone, scrolling at 11 at night. There's a physical piece to this too. Anthropologist Robin Dunbar spent years studying primate social groups and found a consistent pattern. The size of a primate's social circle correlates directly with the size of a specific brain region. And for humans, that number tends to land somewhere around 150 stable relationships, with only a handful ever reaching real closeness. Dunbar also found something else. Grooming, the simple act of one primate touching and caring for another's fur, triggers a release of endorphins strong enough to function as a natural bonding glue. Humans don't groom each other the way chimpanzees do, but the same chemical pathway lights up during a hug, a hand on a shoulder, even sustained eye contact during a real conversation. This is why a video call, as useful as it is, doesn't fully satisfy the craving the way an in-person conversation does. Your nervous system is listening for cues a screen can't send. Proximity, warmth, the small, unconscious signals that say you are safe and you are not alone. The trick here isn't complicated, even if it's not easy. Prioritize a small number of deep relationships over a large number of shallow ones. Call the person instead of texting them. Show up in person when you can. Your ancient brain isn't impressed by a like on a photo. It's soothed by a voice, a face, a shared meal. So here's what you're actually working with. 3 ancient systems, still running, whether you notice them or not. Anticipation, built to keep you chasing instead of settling. Unpredictability, built to keep you searching instead of standing still. Connection, built to keep you close to the people who kept you alive. None of these systems know what year it is. They don't know about phones or algorithms or apartments with locked doors and no shared fire in the middle of the room. They're just running the same code they always have, waiting for you to feed them something. You already checked your phone once during this video. You'll probably check it again within the hour. That's not a character flaw. That's 300,000 years of survival programming, doing exactly what it was built to do in a world it was never built for. The only real choice you have is what you feed it.